Hi guys, I'm Dinu Kumarasiri on behalf of Open Source Help Community. As a part of our weekly Open Source Contributors chat, we have Akshika Wijesundara here. Akshika finished his BSc in Computer Science and Engineering in University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka. He was a Google Summer of Code intern at OpenMRS. During his project, he was working on a project to upgrade the data collection form of the Human Genetics Department. He was also one of the Google Student Ambassadors for Sri Lanka. Apart from that, he is also a musician and a great activist. Hi Akshika, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So do you want to say something before I start asking you questions?
Um, it's nothing specific, so you can directly go into the questions, I think.
Okay, so for the people who are viewing it live, there is a panel on the right side which you can ask questions. So let's move on to our first question. So Akshika, tell us something about how did you start contributing to open source?
So basically, in our university, University of Moratuwa, we had a session done by our seniors, the final years. I was in second year, and there is a session for us introducing. Basically, it was a session on Google Summer of Code, and they were telling how good it was and how impactful it was. So basically, past students who have done Google Summer of Code in University of Moratuwa came and told their stories, how they got their projects and how they flew over the world, like for the conference, and all about the money and everything. So I was very interested, and I thought I should also start contributing to open source and somehow get into Google Summer of Code as well. So that's the starting point for open source in my life, actually.
So, why did you select OpenMRS? So, there are a number of organizations in Google Summer of Code site. What is special about OpenMRS? Why did you select it?
There are a couple of things. I think the first thing was especially the language. It was Java, and I was very familiar with Java at that time when I was applying for Google Summer of Code. So that's the main thing, because I should be able to code and I should be familiar with the code base and to fix bugs and everything. So Java and all the other technologies are like more similar to Java. So that's the main reason I picked OpenMRS. But other than that, there were a couple of other things that led me to select OpenMRS. The other thing is, since it's a healthcare product, it directly helps people all around the world. Especially, you can help people by coding. So that tagline led me to select OpenMRS, because you can directly help people, the patients, the sick people, and everyone all around the world by coding to OpenMRS. And other thing was, there was another uh, past student named Harshit Kumar, who was from my university, was also from my high school. So he has also done in OpenMRS. So I was able to directly talk to him and get help in setting environment and like helping in other technologies. So those are the three main reasons I picked OpenMRS for Google Summer of Code.
So, what was your first bug fix about?
Okay, let me think. I think it was basically it was a translation. I think
Mhm.
see, OpenMRS has different language. Yeah, like it's deployed in different languages, like from English to German, and like all like there are like 12 plus languages for OpenMRS. So I was converting from one language to another language. So it was basically a Google translation and done, and like copy pasting that to the language file. So it was like quite easy. That was the first bug I fixed.
So, what was your GSOC project about? How did you select it? Why did you apply for that specific project? How did you
Uh,
interact with the mentor?
okay, so if I tell about my project, it was about it was done basically in the Sri Lankan, done with collaboration with the Sri Lankan Human Genetics Department. They already had implemented OpenMRS in their department to store data and insert patient data, but the system they had for the human genetics department was not up to date, and OpenMRS itself has two versions, the older version and the new version. So in the new version, they had problems in the data collection forms, such as they can't save images, and they wanted to embed another tool which is used for drawing human genetic trees. So in human genetics department, they want to look at the genetic tree of a patient and to track if the sickness is due to a genetic issue. So there are like multiple JavaScript open source uh, tools that we could embed to the OpenMRS for data collection form. So those were the basic things that I had to do in my project. So apart from that, I had to go and meet the doctors in the hospital because it was done in Sri Lanka. So I also live in Sri Lanka, so it was like logistically easy for me to do such a project, and I had the advantage of getting selected for that project because I'm in Sri Lanka. So I mentioned those in the project proposal as well. So apart from coding and all other stuff, I get to meet doctors and attend their conferences and discuss with them. So it was like a holistic project. It's not just coding; it involved human interaction as well. I can't remember the other part of the question. Can you repeat it, Dim?
How did you interact? How did you first start contacting your mentor?
Okay. So
Did it
uh,
happen through IRC or did you mail him? How do you first started the interaction? Because a lot of students are wondering how do they approach the mentor.
okay. So it's like this, you know. So first, what I did was I wrote an email to the OpenMRS developer mail group. So asking like how to set up the environment, etc. And I also gave a small introduction about myself. So after that, one of the developers in the group replied to me like, you can go to this wiki page and you can set up the environment. So
Mm-hmm.
I followed those instructions, and while I was following those instructions, I came up with a lot of difficulties like issues trying to set up the environment as I went along. So I those questions in IRC as well as through developer mailing group. So I managed to like to get to know like 5 or 6 developers in the OpenMRS community. In that way, I also got to know my mentor. He was one of the uh, he was also a past student, GSOC past student. So I've read about him, and his project was mentioned in the list, and through that I found his email and wrote to him regarding that I'm interested in your project. So earlier before writing to him personally, what I did was there's this OpenMRS talk page where you can put like public post regarding our interest and how we're going to solve that project, etc. So I went
Mm-hmm.
there and like gave my solution for the project, and then we had a conversation in public. So after like couple of days, I thought I should like take it to the next level and talk to him personally. So I wrote him a personal email like explaining like with UML diagrams and the UI parts, etc. So he was quite happy, and we went on from that point. And after that email, everything was public, as it was all on the OpenMRS talk page where everybody can see and everybody can comment. So it's basically about building up your um, first impression on the community, that you are a person who's capable of doing a lot of things, and you are familiar with the code base, and especially that you're a friendly person who could work on a problem in the long run. So those are the qualities that they're looking for in a student. uh, so make sure you do that, and try to be transparent as much as possible. So in open source, that's like an ethic. It's a norm that you try to be open as much as possible. So that's the basic reason that you have talk and you have all the discussions on public forums. So that's about it, like when you're reaching out to the mentor.
Okay, so most of the students may wonder what OpenMRS is. So you told something about OpenMRS, that it's related to healthcare and stuff. So tell us more about the organization, the vision, and the mission.
Sure. So the OpenMRS is basically stand for Open Medical Record Systems. So basically, it's from US, but there are developers from like all around the world, like in Europe, in Asia, especially in Sri Lanka and Africa. And it's basically a healthcare management system for hospitals and also small GPs and all healthcare institutes. So we have like different modules for like all the departments. So that, for example, the project that I was working on was with the human genetics department. So we have a specific module for the human genetics department. So likewise for the doctors, the nurses, and like emergency department, we have like specific modules. So the specialty about our the OpenMRS product is that it's built in a modular way. So you can if a new department comes in, or if this hospital needs a new functionality, we can build a new module and like, directly insert it to the existing code base. So it's quite flexible and extendable. And as I know, like most of the customers are in African region, uh,
Mhm.
and yes, so that's pretty much. And if I talk about the technologies, we use Java as the main language. Apart from that, that was like the earlier version of OpenMRS. Now we have improved OpenMRS with the UI and also the functionality. So now we have like the code base is in Java, but on top of Java we have written use HTML5 and like Groovy pages and like many other new technologies on the existing code base. So that's like the basic introduction about OpenMRS.
So, what was the most challenging thing you did with OpenMRS or any open source project?
The most challenging thing. So I think it's basically
I see that your project was pretty challenging, but
yeah, yeah,
apart from that,
yeah. I think it's all about starting off. So even though I say my first bug was quite easy, because I see that is easy right now, but at that time it was quite difficult because I had problems setting up the environment and like I was not familiar with the code base, etc. So that was the initial like the breakthrough that I had to pass. So in anything in life, it's not just open source or coding or whatever. I think it's anything in life is the first step. It's the most difficult part. So if you can get through that, like everything will be smooth and like very helpful. The community is there to help you. So that's the most challenging part, like fixing the first bug. So I had to talk with a lot of hi.
yeah,
The call was dropped. I'm not sure why it
yeah.
happened. Okay, so I'll continue from where I stopped. So
Mhm.
basically, I was explaining about the like the most difficult, like challenging task that I faced in open source and OpenMRS. It was basically finishing off the first the issue in OpenMRS. So basically, I had to learn JIT and like how pull requests happen and how to communicate with the community, and so everything we had to learn, and that was quite new, like coming from non-coding background. I started coding when I came to the university. So like a lot of challenges were there, but it helped me to understand open source programming, or the version controlling systems and build tools, etc. So the first the first bug was the most challenging thing for me, I think.
So the next question I asked about is what are the tips you can give to the students about how to make a good proposal? Because you have talked about the other things like community interaction,
Yeah.
being transparent. So what about the proposal?
So the tip on proposal is basically it highly depends on the mentor. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to keep good communication with the mentor, and it's not about like you talk with the mentor and you go missing for some time, and so you suddenly come on the dead like couple of days before the deadline and you try to submit a proposal. That should not be the case. The proper solution would be to start from scratch, and like a skeleton, you build up a skeleton and like you add on like different features and try to have a how to say it like a progress like you have to progress like step by step. It's not about you can't like finish a proposal like overnight, like
Mm-hmm.
So it's about like step by step. You have to talk with your mentor and get feedback from him. Even not also just the mentor. You can talk to other members or maybe your friends, your professors in university. So you can talk to everyone and get input. And like with step by step, you have to upgrade the proposal. And like few tips would be in OpenMRS. It's quite important that you fix at least one bug in the code base. That's a must in OpenMRS. So it's always good that you fix a couple of bugs in the code base so that they understand that you're capable of handling the code base as well as working with the OpenMRS, the code, and also add a timeline at the end of the proposal, add a timeline that to show that you are a person who can like think into the future, and you are an organized person. So add a timeline. Apart from that, if you have like past experience which is highly related to the technologies or the domain of the OpenMRS or the specific open source project that you're going to work on, put that as experience. So the people who are going to evaluate your proposal would give a lot of marks for adding for that experience. So those are a couple of tips that I could give. So always keep in touch with your mentor and get his feedback. So he's there to help you, not to like take you down. So he wants the best of you, and if you keep a good communication with him, he'll help you to produce a good proposal. So those are a few top tips that I could give.
So I have seen that you have organized some activities for students to help starting with Google Summer of Code. So care to explain more about that?
Yes, I think that sort of came with my personal experience, because I started off Google Summer of Code because of a workshop organized by our seniors. So I thought of doing the same, because getting into Google Summer of Code it's sometimes difficult unless you have someone who knows, who's there to explain it to you. So it is quite easy and helpful if someone who's done Google Summer of Code come and talk to you and do a session like explaining what to do and what not to do in Google Summer of Code, and how to approach uh, the uh, the foundations, open source foundations, and like all the proceeding of Google Summer of Code. So it was very helpful for me. So I thought I should do the same for the students. So I talked with my friends who have finished Google Summer of Code like in like not the last year. Hi. Hi. Can you hear? Hello? Hello? Hi.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't get you. Get your sound. So what I was telling, yeah, about these sessions that I've organized. So it helped me a lot in my Google Summer of Code, like the journey. So because I got to know a lot of people who had finished Google Summer of Code, and it helped me to meet new people and get to know their experiences and add a lot of experience to my life. So I thought I should do the same for the juniors. And it's not just our university, in other universities as well, where people don't go and do sessions. So open source is all about helping everyone and like making the code visible for everyone, so that there will be like better products in the future. So if you can get a lot of people to do open source, I think world would be a better place. So that's my like the end goal. Try to get many people as possible to do open source projects. So that's why like organized a lot of workshops. Apart from this, that I was a Google Student Ambassador, so it's sort of my duty to do sort of sessions in university. So like those are the reasons I did them.
Okay, so we are appearing near the end. So what is your last piece of advice for future open source contributors and GSOC applicants?
Last advice. So I'll try to so it hold on. So it's all about if it is regarding getting selected to Google Summer of Code. It's about starting early and like talking to your mentor and try to be transparent as possible and put a lot of effort. I mean, for example, if you're asking a problem from your community, make sure you Google that problem beforehand, because you can't be the first person to come out face that problem. So you probably, there's a 99.9% chance that you can find a solution for that problem. So so if that solution for that problem is uh, there in Google search, the community would think that you are a lazy person, or you don't care to like to search that on Google. You just come there and ask. So that's a bad impression that you have. So a lot of people, students do that. So make sure you like Google before you ask a question from the community. Apart from that, that's for Google Summer of Code. So make sure you contribute to the organization as well as the open source community after Google Summer of Code. So Google Summer of Code is not about like a freelance thing where developer comes and finish the project and go away. It's about a lifelong journey where you come and help the community and do the project. After that, you even after the Google Summer of Code, you go and help the community, your open source foundation, and like try to spread the news as well. So that should be the like the final message that I should give. So always try to contribute to open source and also Google Summer of Code.
That is a great piece of advice. Thank you, Akshika, for joining us today. Do you have anything in mind to say about open source, GSOC, anything you want?
Yeah, sure. So there's a blog post I'll try to share with you, so you can share it to the other people. So it's about like Google Summer of Code do's and do nots. So it helps a lot of people to to understand what to do and what not to do in Google Summer of Code. Apart from that, like try to do open source. I mean, it's really good. So you'll understand in the future that doing open source is a pretty good thing, and like it helps a lot of people in all around the world. So that's my final advice, I think.
Okay, so let's see, we do have, yes, we have one question.
Okay. What is it? How can I view that?
Okay, so we have one.
Can you read it out? Can you read it out? I can find it.
We have one question. Is OpenMRS a web application or application on phones? How can I use it? What is its use case for a citizen like me? I don't know much about it. Can you please tell me about its use cases?
So OpenMRS is basically for organizations such as hospitals and health institutes, etc. So it does not directly help a normal citizen, but it will help where when you go to the hospital, when you go to a local GP or a doctor. So if that doctor or the institute uses OpenMRS, our software is quite flexible and it's highly advanced. So it will help the flow inside the hospital really efficient. So it will make your life easier, so to get medicine quickly and to check your records for the doctor and to give better diagnostics, and also to give as in analytics parts, etc. So that's where the advantage for a citizen comes in. But it does not help you, like if you stay home and try to use OpenMRS, there's no use case. It's not something like OpenCV where you can do image processing at home. So it's basically for healthcare institutes. Apart from that, you asked about OpenMRS. Yes, it's a web application. You could run it on server. So there's a server and the client. You can run it on a server, and so it runs on you can run it on a web browser. So I think that's the question was about, right?
So is there any application for phones, mobile?
Yes, we have the Android client. I think we have the iOS client as well. So for Android client, we have like couple of like we had couple of projects in the past, and in this year also we have the Android client projects in our open source list. Apart from that, iOS app also started very recently, and that will also be in like one of the projects in our in the GSOC in 2017. So we have the mobile applications as well.
That is great news.
Okay.
So, okay, that's the question we had from our viewers. So, thank you, Akshika, for joining today. Uh,
Sure. Okay. Dilo, thank you very much for inviting me. It was a great experience. Thank you very much.
okay.
Okay.